And that's about right there, James. The coffee is taking his time. I've already drank. Well, I don't really drink coffee, but when I do, it's in the form of a latte. I used to drink coffee years ago, and I just yeah, it just wreaked havoc on my just everything, my equilibrium. It just I've mentioned it a few times. Well, on here, going through a really bad bout of anxiety years ago. Hey, Mark, how are you? Good to see you. Years ago, and coffee was the caffeine was one of the contributors, one of the main contributors to that. And for that, I quit drinking coffee, quit drinking uh, like colas, caffeine colas. I altogether, I stopped drinking pop. Pop just wreaks havoc no matter what it is, sugar free, whatever. You can't win either way with a cola, pop, or whatever. Between the sugar and the caffeine and the fake sugar or the substitutes. I mean, the substitutes are just as bad, if not worse, than regular sugar, refined sugar, or however you want to look at it. Who cares? It's all bad for you, anyways. But yeah, I just found that caffeine was one of the worst, um, you know, things that really wreaked havoc on anxiety. In fact, panic attacks. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever had a panic attack. I mean, in many cases, it feels like a heart attack. It feels like you're having a heart attack. Oh my God, that's it. It's the end. I'm dying. I'm dying. And that's what it feels like. It feels like you're having, this is it. Is my mortal being is about to dwindle. And that's what it feels like. Yeah. It just feels like you know, your anxiety is like beyond fucking topping and high alert and going off the charts, and you're reacting to it. And the lack of serotonin going from the liver to the brain is just like cut off, and you're fucked. Green tea, I love green tea. That's the only thing I substituted for years. I still drink Japanese sencha. In fact, I still have it shipped in from small Japanese farm outside of Kyoto. I've been ordering from them for since 2000, I think 2004. And it's the best stuff, man. It's so mellow, and it's good for you. It's great for you. You don't have to put anything in it. You can just drink it, just brew it and drink it. Whole leaf. Uh yeah, yeah, it just it's brutal, man. I don't wish it upon anybody. Because I mean, especially for the very first time. If you have a panic attack for the first time, it's like you're like, okay, wait a sec, what is happening? And everything feels so uncertain, just like, yeah, what the hell's happening to me? You know? And it's yeah, it's crazy. Hold on a sec here. Okay. There's somebody at my door. So how are we all doing? Well, it's the morning here. 10:56 a.m. I know it's early afternoon, well, afternoon in the UK, and earlier in the mid part of North America. And hell, it's earlier on the Pacific coast. Uh, it is here. London fog. Hi, London fog. How are you? It is here. It's morning here. It's morning here. It's 10:56, late morning. Hey, Wayne, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah. Hey Terry, how are you? I was kind of wondering, London fog. Yeah, London. That's got to be Terry. How's it going, Terry? Hope you're well. Yeah, it's late morning. I mean, for somebody like you, Terry, morning's probably like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And lately with Ozzy, I've been getting up that early to take him out for a walk, but it's just insane. So, anyways, yeah, it's warming up a little bit here. We're supposed to go through another cold spell. But yesterday was nice. Finally, it wasn't, the minus 25 Celsius. I don't know what that is. What is that in what is it, a minus 11 or something in Fahrenheit, something like that? I don't know. Could be. Who knows? I'm terrible at conversion. Yeah, terrible at conversion. So yeah, I don't know if many of you heard about this horrible, horrific school shooting in BC, British Columbia, Canada. Um, Horrible. It's probably it's got to be one of the worst school shootings here, and I think they said 40 years, and such a odd place, a small little town nestled in the Rockies. I think they said the town is like 2,500 people, something like that. And a 18-year-old killed her mother, stepbrother, and then went to school and killed another seven, I don't know, 7, 8 people at the school, injuring, I think it was tallied up to like 20 people. And it's really, really sad. Well, it's in Canada, Wayne, not the US, and that's why it's weird. That's why it's rare. It's rare here in Canada. Well, yeah, Terry. I mean, I just found out that the killer was actually born a male and started transitioning at the age of 12, and nothing. Hey, fine. That's your prerogative. That's what you want to do with your life. Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna like shun on that, but I mean, like at 12 years old, I mean, the drugs and everything else that that these kids use to transition. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just it makes you wonder. Like, they're going through puberty, and can these? And I know the shooter um, was going through, some very bad mental issues, and had been, uh, had run-ins with the law before. I think the one time starting a fire in the home, and so on and so on. But it's just the whole. I don't want to drone too much on the person who was responsible, because they ultimately killed themselves before the cops were able to get there, or when the cops were there. I don't know how it played out, but it's horrific. However, it is, a small little town. You don't, people don't expect that in a small little town. And that's why this is just so fucking strange. um and you're gonna get your, obviously, like everything else, you're gonna get the conspiracy theories up the wazoo. And yeah. So Terry, are you gonna travel over the Gordie Howe Bridge when it opens up? Oh man. So the real reason, obviously, that Trump is orange face, whatever you want to call him, is basically, you know raising a ruckus with the new Gordie Howe Bridge. The allegations that he came up with. It's quite simple. There's a Detroit billionaire owns the other bridge that has been fucking making money, generating money for so many years. Um, Finally, Canada and Michigan, the governor of Michigan, the then governor of Michigan, decided that what, let's get this new bridge built, and it was fully funded by Canada. Um, and basically the tolls, because it's going to be a toll bridge, from what I understand, and or well, the tolls anyways when you're going back and forth between countries. There's a toll, and so the toll will, in itself, will generate so much fucking money for the state of Michigan. They're gonna have half ownership of this bridge, right? And it just makes things so much easier because I mean the Michigan Detroit Michigan the Detroit Windsor Bridge is busy as hell. Your son works which bridge? The Gordie Howe, the new Gordie Howe Bridge, or the current Detroit Windsor Bridge? But anyways, this billionaire was apparently contacted. What's his name? Oh God, I can't even think of his name. Oh, hold on. Ludwig. Yeah. Is it Ludwig? Yeah. Ludwig. I don't know what his name is. Lutnick, sorry. Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick. Gordy's Bridge in his project. Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome. And these allegations. Well, China's going to take over Canada, and they're going to fucking get rid of the Stanley Cup in hockey and blah blah blah. And I mean, it's a good thing that they fucking put they called it Gordie Howe, the bridge Gordie Howe before that happened, right? So, anyways, this billionaire buddy of Lutnick, contacted, complaint, and say, hey, we gotta have something done here. And of course, that's when Trump started with the allegations of blah 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 blah. So more rhetoric, more bargaining, blah 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 blah. It's just fucking ridiculous. Give it up already. Just stop. Just stop. But anyways, I'm not going to drone too much on it. Gordy's Bridge. Yeah, nice. That's cool. That's cool. And so that basically would help the commerce between the two countries, obviously, and would benefit both Ontario, Canada, and the state of Michigan. I'm a lot better, Terry. Like I said, I just some minor issues now that dealing with, but yeah, I feel a lot better. Feel a lot better. Slow process, but we're feeling a lot better. But like I said, still have some minor issues that dealing with, and hopefully those will be resolved soon. So, but yeah, feeling a lot better. So, how are you guys liking the big fat burrito shorts? You guys enjoying those? For those of you guys that don't know the story behind Big Fat Burrito is actually was an actual burrito joint in Toronto, that Alex and I used to go to all the time. And in fact, we used to promote Big Fat Burrito, and we weren't even getting paid for it. a lot of good that did. It shut down. Hey, Louise, how are you? Good to see you. Um, and so I remember based on I said, hey, we got to do some AI shorts, and based on the storyline. And so, the first one I went back to the first time Alex says, "Hey, let's go to this burrito place. I know it's pretty good, right? Big fat burrito. Okay, cool, let's go." And he kept warning me, don't, don't get the large. It's huge. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. That's no problem. I can finish it, no problem. Of course, I get the large burrito. I can only eat half the burrito. So of course it's been a running theme. And of course, Alex with burritos and farts and blah blah blah. And it's just been a reoccurring thing on the show throughout the years that we've been broadcasting. And I said, okay, well, we gotta do these shorts. They're hilarious. Hey, Matt, you want to come out? Yeah, you want to come on up, Matt? You're more than welcome. I could send you the link if you want. In fact, I can just put the link out. If anybody wants to come up, I'll go for a little while today. And again, you have to have a camera. I want to see you. And there we go. It's in chat. Pinned to the top. So anybody wants to come on up, you're more than welcome to come on up. Well, I'll send you the link too there, Matt. Where are we? Mr. Williams. There you are, Mr. Williams. I sent it to your messenger. But it's in chat too, so anybody's welcome to come up. So yeah, I'm working on a new one, and sometimes AI is very fidgety, and sometimes it takes a few kind of notches to get it perfect, or at least close to it. And I think the best one, my favorite one, and I think Alex's favorite one is when Dr. Demon Gord turns into the great burrito demon, and his I gotta play it again. I have to play it. It's hilarious. For those who may not have seen it, I'm sure you've seen it, but it's freaking hilarious. Just his dialogue, and that's all AI's doing, that dialogue. It just hit the perfect note. Okay, let me just see here. All right, load it up. Make sure all right, here we go.
This steak burrito is fire. Smoky as heck. Can't beat these tortillas. Eyes are glowing.
Bring me every burrito in this place, or face the salsa inferno.
Can we finish ours first? Fine, but you will pay tribute with guac. This steak burrito is fire. Smoky as heck. Can't beat these tortillas. Eyes are glowing.
Bring me every burrito in this place, or face the salsa inferno.
Can we finish ours first? Fine, but you will pay tribute with guac.
I mean, it's perfect. That one is the best one so far. So it's hard to top one. I mean, the one where Alex turns into the great burrito demon is pretty good too, but this one's a lot better. I mean, the dialogue alone. So it's hard. It's really hard to top that one. I think that one is probably the best one. But like I said, I'm working on it. Working on the current one I'm working on right now is myself and Alex, we go in a big fat burrito and we get kicked out for farting too much. And because I'll tell you, those of you ate burritos, you get the gas. But we're kicked out by the manager of a Big Fat Burrito, and the manager is Dr. Demon Gord. So we're just kind of getting that going. But yeah, anyways. Hello, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Oh, not bad. Can't complain. Can't complain. What's
Cool.
going on?
Just doing a bit of citizen journalism.
Oh yeah.
I can tell you in the private chat.
Okay, do that.
Discuss it on here.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
No problem. Other than that, everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. I've been busy flying my drone over somebody's house. Yeah.
So, did you already have? I can't remember if you had a drone or did you just pick one up?
Yeah, no, I've had drones for years. I built my first ones. Went on to DJI.
Which DJI? You have a DJI right now? Which one?
Yeah, I got the DJI Mavic 3 Classic. Really good low light. It does low light like, really much better than anything else out there. So
I still gotta get myself a drone. I keep saying it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I gotta get one. But yeah, I mean, everything leads to a DJI, obviously. I'll have to pick your brain because you seem to know your things with drones about which one is the best. I don't want to spend a shit ton of money, but something that's pretty much respectable. It'll do the job.
Well, you can pick up one of these now probably for about 700
pounds,
and it comes with a controller. Yeah, well, yeah, so probably about dollars as well, but Canadian dollars are more, aren't they? So it comes with a little controller with a screen in it.
Yeah.
Really very easy to control, very trustworthy drone. Flies for about 25 to 30 minutes, and it's got everything you need.
So what are the restrictions like there in air, like in terms of airspace where you can fly the drones there? I mean, are they pretty strict with it there?
It got better. It used to be that you couldn't fly over buildings and you had to be within a certain distance. You couldn't fly at night, and to do commercial work you had to do a test, which I did, and I paid about £1,000 to do the test. And pretty much several months after I did the test, they said, "Oh, you don't need to test anymore. You just need to have insurance." It's like, really? Fuck, wasted £1,000. Thank you very much. So yeah, the restrictions have come down and down and down.
Yeah.
But they're talking about putting them back up now. And in the States, they banned DJI drones from being sold brand new. You can still get them secondhand, and that's where you should get one. Because
here it's fine. You can get them here, no problem. But I guess what is it all about, the fucking Chinese fucking surveillance bullshit?
Surveillance, yeah,
exactly. Of course.
Yeah. Which I mean, don't fly it near military bases, and you haven't got a problem. And the thing is, it'll only feed back if you connect it via Wi-Fi. Now, by default, the controller is Wi-Fi off. Yeah. So if your Wi-Fi is off, it can't phone home, so it can't tell them where you've been flying, and it can't send them secret pictures and all the rest of it. So just don't connect it up to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, just so having the Wi-Fi thing off. Yeah. And what's the range like? What's the range like on the classic there?
Well, they're really good. You can get a controller which has antennas, which is even better. The standard controller doesn't have any antennas, but I mean, line of sight, you can go at least 5,000 meters or more. If it's up high, you could probably get like 7,000 meters, 7 kilometers away, which is like 5 miles. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, no,
whatever 5 miles. I think it's meters. Yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to. You're only supposed to fly 400 meters away legally in the UK, and it has to be line of sight. But what they don't know about doesn't hurt them. Yeah,
exactly. I know when I was shooting a few things, I had my buddy, he had a DJI Maverick. I can't remember if he had the classic or not, but whatever. And one of the projects we did was this old farmhouse, abandoned farmhouse with a nice history to it. But it was not too far from an airfield, but a public airfield, right? So obviously, it was in a range where you're not supposed to fly. But I'm like, is it really that bad if you're just flying around the house on the property? I don't I can't see an issue here. It's not like you're flying high enough where you're gonna, impede on flight or anything like that.
No, and the rules kind of change because you're only supposed to fly up to 400 feet
Mhm,
high. But if you
mhm.
come near to the edge of a mountain, it's 400 from the ground. So the mountain goes up. So you
Yeah.
can always be 400 feet above that. So you can go to the
Oh,
top of the
wow.
mountain
Yeah.
and still be, you could be like at a 2,000 feet. But at the top of the mountain, 2,400, you add it to the height of the mountain, provided you're not more than 400
Mhm.
meters away. But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, considering you can fly at 5 kilometers line of sight and going up a mountain, you've got a great signal because it's brilliant line of sight. You can, yeah, you go quite
I
crazy with it.
I can't
Bear in
believe I'm
mind that
at Go ahead.
hmm,
No, go
you've
ahead.
got mountains up there, like real mountains, like 10,000 foot high mountains. And as you gain in altitude, the temperature comes down and the air becomes thinner. So it's harder for the drone's blades to lift. So they've got to
Mhm,
spin faster. So it uses more power. So
mhm,
going up, you'll use loads of power to get to 10,000 feet.
mhm.
But coming down, you can just let the thing drop and then it regains power. So the needle will go, oh, I got no power. But then you fly back down the mountain, descending whilst flying forward, and the needle goes back up like, oh, I've got 20 minutes again now. Like you got 3 minutes left, but coming down, oh, I've got 20 minutes again now.
Hmm.
So, it depends how you fly. You've got to know your drone quite well and what it can do.
I've been looking, and I think the classic was one of them because I keep seeing, like, you go to a place like Costco, and
Yeah.
here I think it's like they're cheap, but and they usually give you, hey Andrea, how are you? They usually give you a package, like a beefed up package when you get it at Costco, and I think I saw it. It was like, 5 or 600 bucks.
Mm.
Now I don't know if it's a Maverick 3 Classic, but I have to take a look again, but, if so, then maybe I might grab that.
Yeah. I mean, the big problem is that they don't have a zoom lens on the Mavic 2 Pro
Yeah,
had a Hasselblad lens,
yeah,
10-bit color, but the
mhm,
Mavic 2 Zoom had a smaller sensor, but a zoom. You could zoom in 20 times optical, and then you could go digitally, and it would
yeah,
become like 60, 70 times zoom.
mhm,
So for surveillance work, it was absolutely superb. You could be up high,
mhm,
nobody could hear you or see you. You're like a speck. The noise
mhm,
doesn't travel, and you could zoom
yeah,
in. I did hunt saboteur work, and we could be miles away and literally just put it up above us so it's legal,
mhm,
and then just zoom in miles away and just turn it and just see everywhere they're going and just relay that back to the hunt sabs who go and do the work. It's just above us,
yeah,
and they can't see it, they can't hear it. Absolutely superb. And they would just hover up there for 20 minutes. You bring it down, put another battery, another 20 minutes, 30 minutes, bring it down. I had 5 batteries, so you're talking at least an hour and a half of usable time and you could be when you bring it down, you could be charging the batteries three at a time. I got a 3-way charger, and it would charge all 3. So you never run out of batteries. It's basically permanent. You could be up there all day, literally on an inverter in your car, charging all the batteries. They're charged before the thing comes down, so you never run out of batteries. Crazy.
yeah, and I don't know why I'm going, Matt, you just pick up a drone? I'm like, "Wait a sec, no, Matt's had one for a while," because, in a lot of the vids that you did, you obviously had the drone footage, in the start of each one of them, and I'm like,
Hmm.
"Duh, why what were you thinking?" So, but, well, that's cool. And that's all done with, the, Maverick 3 Classic, a lot of that footage?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
reason I say choose the classic, it has one-inch sensor, so that's a good sensor, and
yeah,
it has one lens,
yeah,
and that's all you need because that's a good quality sensor. Now, some people went for the Pro, which has 2 or 3 lenses. One is a 1-inch, and the other ones are two crappy little telephoto lenses. So instead of zooming, it just jumps to telephoto on a crap sensor,
Gotcha.
which is grainy and looks terrible. So the jump is visibly, it's just changed. Horrible. Instead of having a zoom lens, which is, you know, parfocals.
I mean, somebody who doesn't know what they're doing either. I mean, what's the point? I mean, what's the point of having that? It's like me with this computer. I like I got this computer. I'm like, what? Wow, I didn't know I had that.
It's a gimmick, and you know, people that know wouldn't really want to use that. They'd have to regrade the footage to make it look the same as the 1-inch sensor. You'd have to regrade it, recolor it, because when you do the change from one lens to the next and then the third, it changes it visibly both times. Now they're talking about the new 4 drone having more sensors which are actually matched. So when you do the change, it'll look the same. But I don't believe they're going to do that. I kind of think, you know, you're going to bugger about again. And the weight of that whole sensor array, 3 lenses, 3 things, is very heavy. So why not just make it heavy with a zoom in? You know, don't bugger about with this optical switching, you know, to different sensors. Just give people what they friggin' well want, which is a zoom.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, you know, with how often do they come out with new? Is it a yearly thing or every couple of years, DJI? Because I mean, it's not the same with the Pocket. Like, is there a Pocket 4 in the works? Because I love the
Pocket 4,
3.
yeah.
Yeah, I love the Pocket 3.
It'll probably have an 8K sensor that's only shooting in 4K.
Oh, wow.
But then what they'll do is they'll allow you to digitally zoom in without having an optical zoom, but you won't notice because the 8K is making up for it. There's usually a thing called clear zoom, which is good, but you've got to have a much bigger sensor. And then it kind of subsamples the pixels to give you 4K, and then it kind of expands into itself out into 8K, but it's actually shooting in the full 8K res, but downsampling it to 4K, that's what it records. But you can zoom in then into the 8K potential without any visible, noticeable change in quality. So they still don't want to give you the optical zoom. They're doing it digitally. That requires more processing power because an 8K sensor gets hot, needs a lot of processing. So that the guts of the camera are going to have a much better chip, basically, for doing the processing. And there's less moving parts because a zoom has moving parts. If you bang it or crash it, a digital zoom won't, you know, it's a solid state thing. It just, you know, will take an impact, whereas a zoomable lens requires more optics, more bits and pieces that could go wrong if you bang it. So I suppose I can see the logic, but of course an 8K sensor is more expensive. The chips are going to be more expensive, but you can bang the chip, you can bang the sensor. You know, that's the way they're kind of thinking about it, is like take the moving parts out, make it more durable.
And I imagine AI will play a huge part with the processing and shit like that.
God, I hope not. I hope not.
You know, knowing them AI, God, everything's fucking gonna be so insane.
Thing is, we need to turn off the noise cleaning because they put it on by default, but digital noise cleaning can't then be noise cleaned afterwards because you've already baked it in to the video file that you recorded. So it's best to turn it off and have a natural looking grain, which can then be cleaned in DaVinci by DaVinci and NVIDIA's cleaning algorithms, which do a much better job. So all of this AI and noise cleaning is something you probably want to turn off and post-process it to get the best results. So, and they make a cinema version of the Mavic 3 Cine, which shoots in ProRes at an incredibly high bit rate, but again, then you won't have noise cleaning. It'll be clean, unnoise cleaned, you know, 10-bit color, but very, very crisp, high data rate. So huge files, massive files, but a non-removable memory. Whereas in the Inspires, you could pull out the memory stick, put one in, and start flying again. With the Mavic 3 Cine, You have to get it down on the ground and transfer the footage off, and it's huge files, so it takes a long time. Wipe it, go back flying. It's a
Pain in the
yeah,
ass.
pain
I
in
mean,
the ass.
that's not the same with the classic though. You can put cards in it, right?
Yeah, you put a SD card so you can quickly swap them in and out, but it shoots H.265
Yeah.
10-bit color, but not 444
Mhm.
420. And
Oh.
really, they should have done it 422, but they skimped and went 420. And the Cine shoots 422, but it should be 444. But they won't give you that because that's what they sell on the Matrice, which is a $6,000 camera.
Wow. $6,000. It's amazing, eh?
10,000 if you want thermal. Yeah.
Fuck.
And
Yeah,
there's swappable modules. You take it off and you put on a color camera and you put on a thermal camera. And the thermal also has a other camera, but not as good as the other one. So they kind of force you to change the modules based on what you're doing. So,
Wow. Yeah.
expensive hobby.
Yeah. I think a lot of technology, right? It's expensive because
it's designed for military and police use and farming and agricultural with thermal. And if you want to swap it out and turn it into a really good zoomable, because there's zoomable lenses on the big fat cameras on them, very heavy. But then the Matrice is a monster. It's like it's a six, is it? I think it's got six arms. So there's redundancy. If you hit one arm, it can still fly and get itself home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had octocopters, 8 arms, and you can take 2 arms out and it'll still fly.
And that's a bonus because obviously you don't want to crash. Especially those drones without how expensive they are. I mean,
you could take 4 out, but then the other 4 have to compensate by revving up the motors twice as hard. It will fly and get you home, but you won't be continuing to fly. So you could hit a bird, take a bird out, take two, and you could continue to fly. Mm-hmm. But if you took 4 out, you'd be struggling to get home, but you'd get home. And it would be very, very hot on the motors, and the batteries would take a punishing as well.
Yeah, because I know, again, when we were shooting that abandoned farmhouse, he hit a tree. He hit a tree, and you could see it would it wobbled a bit, and then it carried on.
Yeah,
but he's lucky he didn't lose any of the arms or anything like that. He was fine. But it was actually pretty funny. I kept it in there because it just added to it. All of a sudden he's rising above the house, and all of a sudden whack, hits a tree, and it goes like it's hilarious. But I think I'll probably pick one up soon. I've been on the hunt for one for a while now. I just haven't really gotten around to making it like a mandatory thing. So probably because I want to do some more this year. I definitely want to get out and do more filming. Last year was just a total write-off, and I think this year I'd like to get out and create more content, explores and whatnot, so on and so on. I think there's a lot of places to check out. So
yeah, Louis says cinema.
Yeah,
cinema.
That your audio's cracking up.
Probably because it tried to compensate from the volume level. Yeah.
There you go. You're good. So that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that Maverick Classic. That's cool, and it's it's not too expensive, it seems. So awesome. I will look at that. So So what else? What else has been new? I mean, you're a busy guy, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to what am I doing that's new. One good thing about the Classic is it's now old enough that they've managed to hack it, because DJI did a lot of work to stop them being hacked, so that you could make them fly further than they meant to, higher than they meant to, faster than they meant to, and you could fly in restricted airspace like an airfield, a heliport, over a prison, all the things that an unhacked drone wouldn't do unless you literally phone home to DJI and get a special unlock code. And then they'd note down, oh, he's doing something dodgy, so they know it was you. So if they get a complaint, they can grass you up. Yeah. Now, a hacked drone doesn't phone home and does whatever you tell it to. Because it is basically a frigging big pain in the arse having to wait for DJI to authorize you. Yeah. You know, when I'm a pilot and I'm ringing air traffic control and I got an air radio and they know what I'm doing, I can say to them, look, I'm flying over your airport now. And they go, really? Do you have to? Yes, I'm a pilot. Oh, okay, then hang on. When you able to fly? Well, whenever, 10 minutes, an hour, I'm ready whenever you're ready. Oh, can you call us back in a bit? I got an air radio. Oh, even better. You can go in 5 minutes. Call us on the radio. Cool. Thank you. And they just slightly delay aircraft coming in, you know, whilst you're doing your shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, there's a lot that, you have to deal with, when you own a drone, obviously.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, if you know what you're doing, the world's your oyster. You know, you don't have to go and seek permission from DJI. My drone will fly there. I take responsibility for it. I'm in control of a control tower. That's a little bit more important than a Chinese office and a server that wants to give me permission. Sorry.
Oh, hold on. I'm being pulled over here, Matt. Just give me a sec.
Okay. Shit, man. We've said too much.
I love this thing, man. I fucking love this thing. Is amazing. Hold on. I'll turn this. Let me just. Hold on. There we go.
I've got one somewhere. I've got my little lights that I use.
You got that? Yeah, these things, the light bars, sticks. These things are amazing. I love them.
Yeah, I've got the little one that I hang off the bottom of my Pocket 3, and it can do all sorts of lighting effects. Quite good, and they're cheap. You know, they're like £30.
Yeah, dirt cheap, and I mean the battery life is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
like I haven't since getting this thing, I have not charged it. I had to charge it once. It's and I do use it for the show for lighting and everything else, but yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So hello Andrea73 as well, and I haven't told anybody I'm on here because I'm busy. I'll do it in a sec though.
Yeah. So
what's new?
What's new? What's going on?
Just uploading footage right now that's going to appear probably on many news channels, hopefully this evening, or if not tomorrow. I was asked to do it by a friend of mine who's a journalist. So I said, yep, no problem. And I said, yeah, they could, I don't want no money. They could just credit the secret vault. Yeah, probably not a good idea, actually. Just, I don't want my name associated with it. Yeah. They might send me over some money, commercial rate, whatever. It's usually like, a lot of the time, it's like $50 a second. So use 4 seconds, $200. It's a commercial rate generally for news, but yeah.
Yeah, it helps knowing some people. I just finished off some doing some work for a documentary actually, and just minimal work, and it's always nice to get the paycheck. It's nice to get that paycheck because people forget, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've had newspapers just take photos of mine and sort of they assume that you're going to be happy because look at my works in a newspaper. It's like, well, hang on, dudes. You know, like you kind of using my stuff without permission. My email address is right there. You could have emailed me, and all I would have said is yes, give me a credit to the secret vault, whatever, and fine. But because you didn't do that, what's your commercial rate? And they say, oh, £50? Cool. And then 3 or 4 months later, a check arrives in the post. They take
Exactly.
forever to pay, but it's like if they do it the right way and just ask, I go yes. But if they do it the wrong way, I send them the bill for their commercial rate.
Hey, hey, Michael, how are you? Yeah, no, exactly, and that's like I said, I've had a few people ask me about using photos, and so on and so on, and same thing. Yeah, there's been a few people, a few companies and businesses that, well, hey, yeah, we thought it'd be no, no, absolutely not. That's my property. Ask, ask.
Yep.
It's just like when you use a musician's material. I mean, you give them credit. You give them credit, man. I mean, most of them will go, yeah, go ahead, no problem. Just give me credit.
If you don't, they'll go after you for royalties and they'll want to
Yeah,
cut.
yeah,
So it definitely pays to ask first, because then
absolutely.
you have an agreement, which can mean you don't pay anything. They
What
might be happy to let you use it for free.
Yeah, what drives me nuts? I had this musician contact me a while ago, and he goes, "Hey, man, I've got some new music. I was just wondering if you guys could showcase it on the show, like use it during your break or whatever." I said, "Yeah, yeah, no problem. Just send me all the info, and yeah, we'll definitely maybe on the next show, sort of thing, right?" And so I told him, "Okay, we'll most likely play it on tonight's show." He's like, "Okay, cool. Thank you. Really appreciate it." Played it on the show. Next thing you know, fucking get done on YouTube. Obviously, they fucking copyright, and I'm like, we were given permission. I fought it. We were given permission, and then the fucking guy goes, "Oh, I don't recall ever giving you permission to use it." I go, "You motherfucking mutt," you know? Oh, you're muted. Oh, no audio.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello.
There,
Yeah.
yeah, good.
It's my noise canceller.
Yeah.
It detects a blank, and then it turns the sound off. I mean, I turn the noise canceller as part of any video broadcast. I turn it on because it makes you sound all professional, but it's not on. Why isn't it's not on? Oh, okay. It's probably my desk then. Scratchy faders. Anyway, I'm not going
Yeah.
into the desk. And all I know is if you go loud, it comes back on.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't got the noise removal on. Now I got the noise removal on.
Mm. Yeah, so that fucking drives me nuts when people want you to promote their shit, and you're doing it the kindness of your heart. You're not fucking getting paid for it or anything like that. I don't care. I have
Yep.
no problems, especially if they're like independent or whatever else, looking for some whatever. And we've always been like that, but there's always somebody that wants to be a prick, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was fidgeting around with it the other day too, Matt. Where is it? Here we go. Auto framing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, auto framing. I'm not crazy about it. Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that was a pain in the ass having to deal with that. It's like, oh, fuck you, then I'll just take it right out. Fuck you. People are like that. So I don't know. So yeah, like it when these companies do approach you, and they do, hey, is it cool that we use this, that we figure this would fit in with whatever perfectly. Is it quite all right? We're a small company, we can't pay you. Yeah, just give me credit, that's fine. Just as long as you give me credit. I mean, what do you think about that when they just say, it's we're not a large company, we're not really making much money here. All we can do is give you credit or whatever.
Yeah. Every company's got its own little angle where they try to kind of minimize costs or zero costs.
Mhm.
I mean, the smartest people are like Alec Guinness said. I think he said he'd work for next to nothing or free as long as he had a cut of the movie, and it was
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Well, look
And he
at
made
that.
a lot more money from the royalties than he did from getting paid a flat fee once off.
Well, look at Jack Nicholson with Batman.
Mm.
You know, making all the royalties off the fucking action figures and shit. Fuck that. But he made money for the movie too. But I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
He's a smart cookie, man. Jack Nicholson. Where the hell is he now? He has done fuck all. He doesn't need to
Yeah.
though. You know, doesn't need
Yeah.
to. I mean, what's the last movie Jack Nicholson starred in? I can't even remember.
I lost track. I don't have a lot of time to watch movies. I have to kind of
Yeah.
make special time because I'm either editing out, filming, or doing something, or you know, going on live streams for like the last 2 times I did live streams, we were on for like 8, 10 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And then sleeping through the day. And that's why I don't do them, because I'm so tempted to keep going and going and going and going when I should limit it to maximum 3 hours, really. But yeah,
Well, you know, we were like that too. I mean, we were doing like long sessions, and then just life changes, and you can't really do it that much anymore. And yeah, it just fuck. I enjoyed it so when we were doing, because we used to do it years ago, audio, and we would go for like 4, 6, 8 hours, and it's like holy shit, man. There's a lot said. What are you going to say the next time? You say it all in
yeah,
one shot, so I don't know. They're fun. Depending on who's on and what you guys are talking about too, right? You kind of get lost,
yeah.
so or you
I think
fall
it's cool.
asleep.
Yeah. Oh, that happens to me a lot. I nearly
Yeah.
did it. I start to fall asleep. Somebody shouts or rings my phone, and I go, "Whoa!" And then I'm like, "Whoa! Let's get a cup of coffee or tea or something." Usually tea, actually. But and then I sort of I've gone through the sleep moment then, and then I wake up and I'm good. And I'm good to go for hours. I just need that little kind of nod. And same when I'm driving. If I feel myself nodding, don't fight it. Don't
Yeah.
drink energy drinks. They just don't work. Just pull
No.
over, have 10 minutes, and then boom, you're ready for another good hour and a half before you
Yeah.
maybe need to have another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Exactly.
fighting it's dangerous. That's when you crash, I figure anyway. But
Yeah, I've had a couple friends who, unfortunately, one of them made it out okay, but the other one didn't. And it's a horrible
sorry to
thing
hear
when
that.
you do a lot of driving and you're on the road quite a lot, and you don't know your limits, and you go beyond your limits. It's quite dangerous, especially here in the winter. In the winter, it's just brutal. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I remember doing an investigation in a conservation area. There's an old Scottish mansion that well, what was left of it is just the facade, really, the outside stone work. And we were granted permission to go in there and do a full investigation. And the conservation guy that was there with us, just overseeing that, we weren't doing anything bad. We were just doing what we said we were going to do, which we did, whatever. We were leaving, we left, and I rang him with all the results from the findings, whatever findings you had, because he was wondering what was going on. And when I called the office, they had said, "Oh, he passed away." I go, "What do you mean he passed away? Like, we were just with him last night." Yeah, on
Hmm.
his way home, when he was driving home, he was
Uh-uh.
on a head-on collision.
Oh shit.
Two lane. Yeah, it's horrible. It's just really, really tragic when you hear that. And because fuck, I felt so fucking terrible, because I mean, he was there to oversee us, and he was just on his way home, and shit like that happens. It's just brutal, man. Yeah,
Here's something weird for you then.
yeah.
I think I've crashed in my car multiple times and died. and you just wake up, boom, and you're in a different. It's a different you in a different place,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
subtle things have changed.
Mm.
Um, I don't think you die. So it's almost like it's like you're in a game, and I don't believe it is a game. I mean, I think it's different realities, different subtle realities, and there's many of us in these realities. And when you crash and die, because I've had deja vu's, I'm driving down the road and I go, "Whoa, that's where I
Mm.
died, just there and then." I feel like somebody stepped on my grave.
Mhm.
I go, "Whoa," and that wakes me up, and I go, "Well, that's weird." And then I'm thinking, well, remember the time that you woke up from the steering wheel and you'd crashed? But there was no injuries. You had no injuries whatsoever, even though the car was completely totaled. And you just
Mhm.
go, whoa, and then that, and you don't remember the crash.
No.
You don't remember before, but you remember that you just had a crash. And I've crashed
Yeah.
many times and had those kind of experiences. And you just wake up like,
Kinda
oh,
kinda like, how some people kind of experience it when they're astral projecting or, in that sort of realm where, you're semi-conscious and all of a sudden you're like entering somebody else's fucking sort of realm, if you will, and you're like, "Wait a sec, this is not fake. This is real. This is so real." And yeah, like you were saying, you jump into a whole different, that sort of old realm is gone now. The crash and bang. Yeah, yeah, simulation. Who knows, right? I mean, we
or
have no
multiple
fucking idea.
dimensions.
Yeah, multiple dimensions.
And this is
Uh,
why remote viewers have to be careful because they think they're remote viewing a particular location, but they're told, well, remote view Mars. And in well, let's say our reality now, if
mhm,
we went up there, there's nothing there. But if
mhm,
you go to dimension like 330,
mhm,
which you don't know you've remote viewed and you've slipped to 330,
mhm.
there could be a civilization, an atmosphere on Mars, and people living there. And this is why books get written about things that sound ridiculous, like, oh, there's
Crazy, yeah.
people on Venus, there's people living on this planet and that planet, and there's different realities where things are completely different. And of course, they write these books in total seriousness, but again, they're not aware themselves that they're remote viewing what effectively to us is bullshit. Because here,
Mhm,
if we went there, that you can't go to Venus and you can't go
mhm.
because they're chemical planets with a density and all these sorts of things that just doesn't add up. But in dimension 330,
Yep.
Mars would have and the moon might have all these things that, you know, we don't
So
see and we can't see.
so do you think, since we're talking about remote viewing, remote viewers, do you think they're present, past, future, or different dimension altogether, or all of them?
Well, some believe that you can't remote read too much into the future because the future hasn't been set. And other
Yeah.
people say the future has been set, which means that, it's already been determined and you could remote view forward and look at your death and kind of
Yeah.
like nothing will change it. But then nothing can change it, but then you learned about it, so you will change it. So you could remote view it again and it will have changed. You have a different death because
Mhm.
you're already aware of it. So
Yep.
you will change it. But if you hadn't, and somebody else remote viewed your death and didn't tell you, that would be when you would die because somebody else was remote viewing it. But if you are aware of it or somebody tells you, you'll change it. So things are set into the future, but if you know about it, you'll change it.
Yeah,
So
it's an interesting thing, remote viewing and different dimensions and the fact that the possibility of when people have these experiences that they would equate to being sort of spiritual or ghostly like or whatever, that in fact it's none of those. It's actually you're glimpsing into that dimension. There's some sort of glitch transfer or crack or whatever, however you want to explain it, as it being. And when you look at because for instance, you get the fourth dimension, 4D. You can't we can't really, perception isn't our strongest suit. We don't have the mentality or the knowledge to sort of see that sort of realm, or explain it properly as we can with 3D and 2D and so on, right? I mean, is it the fourth dimension that maybe we're sort of, you know, kind of trampling on, or glimpsing into?
Yeah, well, there's that movie where the octopus type creatures came down in a craft and made contact, and a specialist who was an alien hypothesist who
Yeah.
did sort of wrote up. She sort of wrote disaster scenarios, and then the Pentagon arranged to pick her up with a helicopter. And they said, "Look, we've tried everything we can. We can't communicate. You're a language expert that speaks multiple languages and decode ciphers, but you also wrote that paper about possible alien contact.
Mhm.
So you tick all these boxes for the person we need, and we want you to go out there and try and decipher what the aliens are trying to talk to us about."
Mm.
And remember that movie? What was it called? Like, not Contact, or
Oh,
I'll Google it now and see
it,
what
it sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Alien Contact movie. Octopus aliens. Let's see, what is it called? Arrival. Yeah,
Arrival. Okay.
yeah. And they were not only communicating, the shapes they put out weren't just language, it was time as well. So they spoke in time. So once you knew how to kind of read it, you could read forward and backwards in time.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Interesting concept.
Yeah, it is. And I think because our lack of knowledge, theory based, there's so many concepts that we could sort of draw up. And I mean, a lot of them do sound realistic, but fact is, we just like death. Like when we die, we essentially, do we, maybe physically die, but the metaphysical sort of energy aspects transition to maybe the fourth dimension or a different dimension, or whatever. I mean, you hear people who make claims that we're actually in a purgatory right now, and when you die, we actually go to real life. That's what real life is when we pass away, and sort of transition into that sort of realm. So, I mean, we really just don't know, right?
Well, I mean, I think everything about my life, just speaking about me,
Mhm.
has been a learning experience about getting rid of a fear of death
Mhm.
and preparing yourself for what comes next so that you pass over peacefully.
Mhm.
Because I get the feeling that if you are frightened at the moment of death, that it kind of hinders your easy passing. So you've got to kind of learn. And I've certainly had some near death experiences, which I didn't even realize I died when I had sepsis. I just blinked out and blinked back,
Mhm.
and they were just about to shock me.
Mhm.
Um, and I just kind of realized that, well, if you don't know you're gone, like if you die in your sleep and you don't even know you've gone, that's the best way to go. And
Yeah, just the thought, if there was some way we were able to sort of record that moment, you know, that when somebody, yeah, when they die in their sleep, and what comes next, that the great mystery, if you will. Yeah, it's yeah, crazy. Your explanation, the whole accept.
like in it, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Like in Interstellar, Haunted, the Truth says, and Andrea says, "Me too, Matt. I'm over it now."
Yeah.
When you've had it happen to you a few times, you kind of you go, oh, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. Actually, it might be quite peaceful.
Well, it's like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, right? I mean, monks prepare for their passing, to go to enlightenment.
Yeah,
And if they can't let go of the physical aspects of life, then they're reincarnated,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But if they are able to, at their time of death, let go of all physical aspects of life, then they go on to enlightenment, right?
yeah.
So I mean, the enlightenment is the enlightenment, the real sort of our experience, if you will, a life experience, or I mean,
You almost quoted, sort of like in a pseudo way,
yeah,
a very, very important moment of a movie which deals with life after death.
yeah.
And I'm going to look it up before I do the quote, but
Mhm.
it goes something like this. There's a guy and he's dying
That is weird, Matt. You
and
just
he's experiencing yeah.
you're freezing up, man. That's so weird the way. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
You
Yeah,
ready?
yeah, yeah. You
Okay.
froze a couple
And
times.
and and he says he's smiling at him. This guy's telling him, he says, "Hey, don't worry. Those demons you're seeing, they may not be. They might be angels just trying to free you. And it's all about how you perceive it. And really, you just have to kind of like let go." Yeah. And it's something like that, he says. And it's a really good part of the movie. And it's called, hang on, Jacob's Ladder. Yeah. And it's very scary. Yeah. And it's all about experimentation in the Vietnam War, where they used a chemical agent on the troops and they basically ended up coming back home and continuing to hallucinate and seeing demons and Jacob's Ladder. So it's the death scene quote. Let's have a look here. Let's see if it's um oh, here we are. This, yeah, straight away, because it's so remembered. Right. This is what the character says to the guy who's seeing all the demons. He says, if you're frightened of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made peace, then the devils are really angels freeing you from the earth.
Mhm.
And that's actually, they used it in the movie, but apparently it's a quote from this guy, I never knew this, Eckhart von Hochheim.
Hmm.
But they used it in the movie to, a character says it to the main Tim Robbins, I think it
Tim
is
Robbins.
the,
I think you're right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think you're right.
So he's saying it to Tim Robbins. I didn't even realize it was a quote from something else. Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, people, you know, y- I think it is, when you read that scripture, it just it really makes you think, and it makes total sense that, that the human experience, although for many it is a physical sort of materialistic sort of avenue, that real life doesn't include that. I mean, that is all. It that is kind of like your prison. Your prison. You're stuck there with all the amenities and all the entertainment and all this, the money, blah blah blah, and it all anchors you down. And they don't want you to understand what real life is all about, what the actual meaning of life is, and they keep you distracted with that. And I think, when you understand how Tibetan monks, and not just Tibetan monks, but more so Tibetan monks, how their journey is to let go of all that sort of material. And people go, I don't understand, why are they doing that? Why they're doing it? There's a reason why they're doing it. They want to understand what the meaning of life is, what this whole thing is about. The journey is not about, I make more money than you do, or I own this, or I'm the president of a country, or blah blah blah. It's how you make this time, this physical time that you have here, how what you make of it,
Yeah.
and preparing yourself for that moment when you transition, when you're gone, your time comes to sort of move on to what I like to think is the real moment, not just a, the end of, you know, what's that?
I'm
Oh,
not
you
trying to
try.
distract you. I just putting it on charge because it's finished one battery. So
Oh,
let's get the next on.
I gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, yeah,
Sorry.
it just
I was listening, and what you said basically is, I think that all the physical stuff that we hark after is what holds us back. And Buddhists and various other religions say, just don't have anything, don't own anything, and then you won't be worried about losing it.
yeah.
And we crave possessions, and we hoard possessions, and we cry when we lose them, and we worry about being able to afford new ones and better ones, and we chase, and show off what we've got, like, look what I got, and then you're all competing, and really it's like a rat in a maze that doesn't see the walls, the maze. And if you remove the walls and you remove the possessions,
Hmm.
you're free to go anywhere without a care. And it's kind of, I've spent just a little bit of time, not a lot,
Yeah.
but with Hare Krishnas, and at
Yeah.
festivals.
Hmm.
So there's a music festival there, and I'm like, oh, look at them dressed in orange and a bit like Buddhists, and they're dancing around going Hare Krishna. I'm like, they seem to be like they're on drugs. They're having a great time, but without drugs.
Hmm.
So I kind of like, can I come in and chat to you? Yeah, yeah. And would you like some free food? I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, all the food's free.
Hmm.
It's all vegetarian, there's nothing, no meat, but
Hmm.
you can have any food you want and go and get some food and we'll sit down and chat, and I'm
Yep.
like, well, you guys seem to be having a good time, what's the secret, because you're just repeating the same thing over and over like a hypnotic chant. And they said, yeah, that's it. It's so hypnotizing that you kind of forget your thinking, and
Hmm.
you forget all these thoughts that are making you think, what about, did I leave the gas on? What about the dog? What is, I need to ring the wife. You just kind of like, you blank it out with just repetitive hypnotic stuff. And then you enter a state of bliss.
Hmm.
It's like a drug,
Yep.
but without drugs. It's
Exactly.
natural, and, forget about the possessions, the food we have is usually donated to us by people who give it to us for nothing. So we give it to you for nothing,
Hmm.
and people are welcome to come and stay, learn, and they can come and go. It's not a cult where you're locked in, and you might want to give us some donation of food. We don't demand it. We don't want anything from you, but you might want to, and there's people who don't have anything to do with coming to these events,
Hmm.
but they donate the food, and that's their little bit for thing and makes them feel good, and other people take advantage of it by using the food and coming and staying. And the electric is, somebody pays for the electric, and we might know them really well, and we may never have met them, and people take care of us. You can come and live for free.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, during Vietnam, and the famous photos of the Tibetan monk who set himself on fire, and he didn't flinch. He literally just sat there, and he was engulfed by the flames. And people are like, "Well, why would he do that? Why would he do that?" It's quite simple that, he was showing that if the he has let go of the physical materialistic world, and he's ready to go to enlight to go to enlightenment. And it's as extreme as that may be, but that is like pain is a physical attribution. And if you can let go of that pain, you can resist the pain. uh right there, you can basically move on.
I mean,
You're
some of these. Oh, sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
No, you go, because you were on
No,
a roll.
I'm pretty much finished.
there's some of these people, they specialize in different talents and meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to a place where nothing can get in, like sound can't get in,
Mm-hmm.
light can't get in. You blank out the distracting thoughts, and it can be hard sometimes, I've been told, to kind of get somebody to come out of that trance, and they it's very hard to get them, even if you shake them or pinch them or put a flame against their arm. They don't feel it, maybe. Not everyone, but some masters of that can literally just go to a zone where they don't feel and experience anything apart from either bliss or just nothingness. And that is a state where you yourself can recharge, your body can heal quicker, because it's like a form of sleep, but it's a sleep that you control. You control when you go in, you control when you go out, and you control it, not external forces controlling you. And people learn how to control their heart rate, their breathing, their repair mechanisms of the body, which bits they want to work more than others. Like, repair my arm, but don't worry about the legs. I need the arm, that's more important. Repair that more. And kind of be in control of your body, be in control of your thoughts, be in control of your systems, which are normally automatic.
Yeah.
See, a lot, the breathing is automatic, heart rate's automatic, repair systems are automatic. But, learning how to control your body, because it's yours.
Absolutely.
So why don't you learn how to control it?
Flem says middle of a crop circle is the best place to meditate.
I've always found it hard because there's so many people coming in and noises and things. But if you're good at, if you can really do that, which I haven't trained to do, but yeah, I find there's too much going on. And if somebody recognizes me and goes, "Oh, you're the guy who reckons you make the crop circles. So did you do this one then?" I mean, it's like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah, it's when I look at or when we talk to people who we talked to oh God, what was his name? Christopher. Oh, what was his last name? He passed away though. He was a teacher at the University of Toronto, who was he was later let go because of his teaching, because he basically was kind of more towards the metaphysical realm and talking about 0 point energy. And they didn't like that. They felt that, why are you teaching these people, the students, this when it's not, fact.
Or not part of the syllabus, not part of recognized science or whatever.
Exactly. And just talking to him, I have to find the show again. It was so fascinating. The points
called heretical scientists, heretics.
Yeah. 0 point energy, I'm telling you, that is really intriguing, really interesting to sort of dive into. And I would really like to bring somebody on to talk about the quantum, the quantum sort of aspects of 0 point energy. I mean, it's just incredible.
I go back and look at lectures I was giving 30 years ago, when nobody that I knew was talking about quantum physics and quantum realities and quantum entanglement. And I was talking about this stuff 30 years ago. And I said, people have known about this like since the turn of the century. They've been talking about quantum stuff, but it's not really on television. Why? Albert Einstein, they were all into this stuff because it was the way that they were going to try and bridge flaws in their theories. And E equals MC squared is not actually perfect. There are things that need to be done to kind of make up for the fact that under certain conditions, E equals MC squared doesn't work. But they tried to accommodate it with string theories and quantum physics and all these ideas which have been running in the background but were not discussed to the public. They were discussed as backroom things that scientists talk about, which you don't tell the public.
Because you can't make money. You can't make, well, you can make money, but you can't make money because, I mean, you look at the classic interaction between Tesla and what's his name?
I'm listening, by the way. I just gotta do something.
What the hell is that guy? The guy behind GE. What the hell was his name again? Holy crap!
Tesla?
No,
Nikola
not
Tesla?
No, yeah, Nicholas Tesla and
GE, General Electric.
the guy behind General Electric. What was
it?
his name?
Jack Parsons or something?
Not Parsons, the scientist. You know,
he invented the company GE.
Well, not the Edison. That's who I'm
thinking. Oh, Edison. Yeah. They were,
And
Tesla was a student, kind of went to work with Edison, and they had different ideas. Edison was DC power, and Tesla was AC. And Edison knew that AC was superior, but wanted to stamp it out because he would get the credit for DC. But DC doesn't travel very far.
No.
So he tried to kind of, did he try to buy out Tesla? And because he couldn't buy him out to shut it down, he ridiculed it. And in the end, the reality of which one was more useful became evident because DC is only good for short distance transmission.
Yeah. And, obviously a lot of things that Tesla, created or was theorizing, it was about, giving to the people. This is free energy. We could build this and it could be, generate, enough electricity or energy for, people, and they wouldn't have to pay. There's And the thing is, well, again, you look at the powerhouse of Edison and General Electric. It's like, no, absolutely not. We have to make money off this. We have to generate money. We need to squash all that out. I mean, we can't have that, circulating around. And I mean, is it evident that destroying all of Tesla's work? Right? Or did they destroy it? Or, I mean, that's another thing. Did they actually destroy all his work?
Well, Tesla was credited with all these things, but he kind of gave a lot of it away. And it's self-evident that, you're going to end up, the patents are going to run out and people are just going to use your invention eventually.
Yeah.
But he kind of wanted people to have free energy, and he built that tower where he thought he was going to transmit electricity wirelessly, so that people could just hook up and use the electric. But I kind of think that it probably would have fried the earth had he done it as well, because he was not aware of the side effects of ionizing the air, which is what lightning does, and you also get under power lines, you get a certain amount of electromagnetic effects, which weren't well known about. There's negative health things that go on with it. So it's probably a good thing they didn't do it, although he demonstrated it was possible to do it. But, we wouldn't have radio without Tesla, because, DC is not the way you transmit. Waves transmit. Laser and light is all waves. And then you're talking about, is it a particle? Is it a wave? The dual slit stuff, is when waves become particles and switch, back and forth. So they change state. So, he's a fascinating character, but so many people got jealous of what he did, and he says, I think he said himself that these ideas just came to him. He didn't research them, and they just popped into his head like he was channeling them. And Edison was all about scientific experimentation, and Tesla just siphoned this stuff out of the universe. And
it's amazing. Why Tesla and why, who was feeding or what was feeding him. Was he, open to the universe, if you will? And that's the thing, people are just like, it's all about again, we get down to the physical sort of aspect of life, and how there's barriers. You can't go outside that box because it just doesn't exist, or that's what they want you to think it doesn't exist, but it
Mm.
really does. And Tesla was able to sort of, you know, think outside that box. Yeah, yeah, he is a fascinating character, and it just makes you wonder. People like him and Einstein, and even though Einstein was very, obviously highly intelligent, even a lot of his theories, like you said, have been, corrected.
Yeah.
Have been proven to be fallible, and here's the correction, if you will.
Mm.
And again, it leads down to man. I mean, most people don't understand. If it's man-made, it's fallible. you know, it's very fallible, and it's not going to work perfectly. And but we're going to test it anyways. And who gives a shit about the side effects?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, since man has kind of been potentially modified by the aliens, where the missing link, the
Mhm.
brain increased in complexity very quickly, which some would attribute to some sort of mutation,
Mhm.
and others would say, well, many scripts have come down through oral traditions that say aliens, cave paintings say aliens were here right at the start and manipulated us. And then we became very intelligent, and the aliens told us about technologies which got passed down, and then some secret societies and people that would have been burnt at the stake were experimenting with these things that had been passed down and
Mhm.
had access to chemistry and physics, but had to keep it secret because it's a two-tier thing. There's the public's version of reality and science and mobile phones and laptops, and then there's the military and secret societies version of what they've got. And what they've got in secret, and they've always had for a very long time, is stuff that's far more advanced than the public is
Oh,
aware of.
absolutely, absolutely.
And when you talk about crashed UFOs and retrieval of this technology and direct contact with the aliens, and deals that have been done to, give technology, and companies like
Mhm.
these
Lockheed.
puppies,
Mhm.
yeah, who are the gatekeepers of some of this stuff, allegedly,
Mhm.
then yeah, there's a two-tier space program.
Hey,
We
so
have we have like the Starship Enterprise, and we are traveling to the stars, and we're time traveling, and we're doing all sorts of stuff. But the public can't know that. But the way to kind of get around it is to mock it through TV programs like Doctor Who
mm,
and Star Trek,
yep,
so that people go, oh, it'll be really great when we get that, because they don't want people to know we already have it.
we already have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the best way to disinform people is to make it comedic science fiction, especially camp, you know?
So,
Yeah.
Matt, do you think that a lot of that information, a lot of that technology, do you think it's still funneling in now to this day, or is it just technology that was given to them years ago?
I think there's certain things that the highly advanced races, which some of these races of aliens are not even physical in the sense that we are physical.
Yeah, I was going to say
Um,
that. Yeah.
and they, you could see them as energy or gas, they kind of, you could be walking through one, as moisture or gas, or feel it as like an electrical tingle. It's not all aliens are physical. Um, Maybe this is the realm of the gods, which is
Mm.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
ascribe them to be human, and that just makes it easier for us to kind of deal with. But they can teleport themselves, and they can manifest reality, and they can do all these things with their special powers, and maybe they choose to be seen as human, so it's easier for us to deal with. But in fact, maybe God is not a physical being that has a beard and white hair,
Mhm.
or as some like Dogma said, is a woman, Alanis Morissette. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Why limit aliens to being a narrow box of arms and legs? Well, that's just us kind of wanting aliens to look like us. It makes us feel better.
And
Like,
I
oh, we haven't got far to go till we get to be alien.
and I think that's obviously, an extension of our ignorance, really, of not being able to understand outside that, outside that box. I mean, I wholeheartedly do believe that, the aliens or whatever, or these types of aliens are yeah, definitely not physical, at all, and probably have a lot of problems being able to transition themselves into a sort of like a physical sort of form. And that's why a lot of this, I think, is you can't explain, because we don't have the knowledge to explain it. Other than, okay, shit's happening, but we just don't know. We don't know. You know. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I do agree with you on that.
I mean, we're speeding through at light speed here on subjects that you really, need a lot of explanation. So we're
Exactly.
we're trusting the audience to be halfway with us on this, and I think most of you probably are.
Yeah, there's
So
some good
but this
discussion
this is
there.
this is stuff to go and weigh and look at now, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube. They're all free. Look into the work of uh, Rupert Sheldrake,
Hmm.
and he's a doctor, of biology. Is he a professor or a doctor? I think he's a doctor. Was it Professor Rupert Sheldrake? I don't know. But anyway, he's done loads of really fascinating work about telepathy and how
Hmm.
dogs know you're coming home, and how you
Yeah.
know that somebody's going to ring that you haven't heard from in a long time, but they're going to ring the phone, and then they
Yeah.
do. And he had a parrot. Parrots are really good. They
Mm.
can read your mind,
Yeah.
and things you think they'll say. And
Yeah, exactly.
there was one called Nakisi,
Mhm.
and would relate the dreams that the owner had had. In the morning when the owner would wake up, Nakisi would start speaking the dream that the owner just had. And
Mm.
so they've done a lot of research into this, and of course scientists are like up in arms about this, saying it's
Of course.
pseudoscience. You're making it all up. It's not real. And I say, well, have you bothered to look at the research? I don't need to look at the research because I know it's not real. So that's the classic of a skeptic. I know it's not real, so I don't
Yeah.
need to look. Yeah,
Science is a governed body, it's fallible, and yeah, peer reviewed, you know. If
yeah.
it's not peer reviewed, it's not science. So
Terence McKenna's experiments with DMT.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yep.
going to a dimension, which I've taken DMT, and I've kind of not quite got to that dimension. It's a little bit further than I've gone. I've gone to like level 1, and but when you
I
get there, you get to meet the creatures that kind of operate reality from behind the scenes,
I
and
took
they're really happy to see you. They're like, "Oh, you made it. Great." But in a language that you can only understand when you're in that dimension. When you come back, you can't relate it to people, because out there you can think more, and in your body it's like the filters are on, and it's very hard to bring back what you learn.
when I was 21, 22, I took some peyote, and I'll tell you, man, 14 hours of oh, wow. I wish I was able to record that 14-hour, because that 14-hour felt like literally 5 minutes. That's what
Mm.
it literally, but so much information was passed to me in that 5 or 10 minute like time frame. My mind thought it was, but realistically, it was like 14 hours. It's fascinating how, you know it's like, when you have a dream at night and you have all this this information that's playing out in your dream, and realistically it only feels like a few minutes, and then you wake up and you go, holy fuck, what just happened, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but 14 hours, and you're like, everything is so vivid and real, and it's like, what, who is, and it just, you have more questions, and that's the problem. You build on that experience, and you question everything that you remember, and it's, wow. I know people who do those, and quite literally write diaries about what they
Mm.
experienced. And that's just, it's so fascinating that you're able to sort of climb into that part of the brain, and turn it on, and quite literally go into hyperdrive.
Yeah.
People don't realize that we are attached, or a part of this greater system. People will equate it to, like, your PC hooked up to the World Wide Web, and we're patched into the universe, if you will, quite literally. Yeah, I mean, and trying to get out of that sort of, the internet gateway, and getting in there, that's the hard part for many people. They can't get past the gateway. But once you get by that gateway, and you start exploring that vast universe, and the things that are in it, you're like, this is so overwhelming, man.
I think
It's
most
so,
people do it without realizing, and then they
yeah,
forget instantly upon waking. And it's the glimpses of when you actually remember. And as you say, if you write it down,
yeah,
because dreams are kind of flushed out, and like
yeah,
minutes or hours after you've had them, you literally, oh, what did I dream about this morning? Oh, I can't remember. And it's like,
yeah.
so I've tried, but I say I'm going to keep a notebook. Well, my notebook is my video camera, and I
Mhm.
just, if I wake up and I've had a lucid dream in color, or
Yeah.
a very vivid something, I mostly have really interesting, fascinating dreams. But I used to have horrible dreams when I was a kid, and it was always the same dream, or a couple of them. There was about two or three of them. It was always the same thing. And one of them just happened to be that I was taken by my arms by these people that I wasn't allowed to see their face. And they took me down a tunnel into a huge cavern underground. And there was a shed. And they took me to the shed. And I don't know what, I don't remember going in the shed, but then bang, I'm into the shed and I'm tied down. They inject me with something in the arm. I start to sort of like hallucinate. They've now left me, and I hear a bang or feel something, and then everything crushes, like the
Mhm.
roof has come in, and
Yeah.
I'm dead, and and that was the recurring thing. Now, only later on in life, what do I go doing? Looking into underground bunkers, tunnels, and aliens and men in black. And I've always had a fear of the tunnels collapsing on me when I'm doing this stuff, and it's kind of like weird how you kind of you have dreams that make you, or you're fearful of something, and you then try to challenge your fear by doing the very thing you're frightened of,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then you remember, then, oh, remember I used to have those dreams, and look what I'm doing now, kind of
Yeah.
men in black and tunnels, and being paranoid about one day they might get me, and I'm actually banging my head up against the base gates, going like, you fuckers, you're lying to me, and causing problems with government, and like they're looking into my shit, and men in black are real, you know.
Yeah.
So like I'm thinking to myself, am I just going to end up suicided one day if I keep this shit up? So I've kind of like done a backseat on the UFO thing now, and I still do it and still research it, but I watch more than I get involved. I still do lectures, but I'm an observer now with the UFO stuff. Um, I think it's healthier for me as well, because So there's a lot of frustration involved in knowing you're being lied to and doing your damnedest to kind of fight the lies, but also being frustrated. And I thought, well, I need to kind of like relax and do something that's more therapeutic, which is the urbex, you know, and far less risky in many ways.
It's stressful when you have encounters with Buzz Aldrin, right?
That was quite a nice. It was nice,
Yeah,
but I knew there's some, you know, I knew that because they played a trick on me, that
yeah,
there was going to be more and more and more tricks. So I thought I have to go off script.
yeah.
And they only let you go on the show if you agree to read from the script. You have to
Of course,
memorize it, and the
of
teleprompter is telling you what to say.
yeah.
And I'm not fucking doing that.
No.
Excuse my language. No way. But they kind of learned that I was good enough off script to kind of like get me back, and then not play a trick on me, and then get me back, and then play another trick on me. You know, it's like one day you're the hero, and the next day you're the enemy, and you know, kind of like. But they know that you're good for it. You know you're
Well, yeah,
up for the challenge.
they know you can back much of what you're saying, right? You do have, stuff that can back it. Yeah, exactly. That was how was that though? I mean, like meeting a guy like that. I mean, that
I mean, it's weird because I didn't. Although I know he's the astronaut that was the second man to step on the moon,
mhm.
and what an achievement! I mean, what a
Yeah,
brain! I
yeah.
mean, he's a doctor. You know, he's a doctor, and he's like a scientist and an astronaut. Wow,
Mhm.
you know. But also, I mean, sorry, Buzz. I mean, I've heard you were a bit of an egotist, you know,
Yeah.
and you tried to bully Neil Armstrong into saying, "Let me be the first one out,"
Yeah.
you know, and he said, "I'm the mission commander. Back down, calm down. We're doing it by the book, and we said we were doing it this way, and this is the way it's going to be. I'm
Mhm.
not just stepping aside because you've got an ego." And you know,
Yeah.
they had this little kind of, whilst they were just about to land, you know, there was like this little sort of power struggle, you know, where Buzz wanted to be the first one out, you know, and he was told no. Now, Buzz is the one who's got into fights with journalists, you know, punched people out
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
saying things which were very
Yep.
similar to what I said in front of him, you know,
Mhm.
and he wouldn't shake my hand, and he, yeah, you know, and so I realized like I don't go at the guy, go around the guy, you know.
Mhm.
Don't fight him head on. Say, well, it's not your fault they airbrushed the photos, you know. I mean, like some of those photos didn't come out properly, so they had to airbrush it because they didn't look good.
Yep.
But also, there's a conspiracy that there were things in the photos they didn't want people to see, like UFOs. And he's like, you know, he's kind of like he's like, I'm not saying because I can't say, you know. You could see it, you know. I could see in those eyes there's things he wants to say but can't.
Say, but he can't say. Yeah.
And
Was it?
Neil went the complete opposite direction. He said, well, I can't say it, but I'm going to go down the spiritual route. So you kind of go, well,
Yeah.
what happened to Neil? Neil's all really weird and spiritual now. What's with Neil? And Buzz is all kind of locked down, you know, and sort of, yeah.
Wasn't one of the deals with Neil Armstrong too? It was the treading on his moon boot. It didn't match the photos, I believe, something like that. There was somebody had taken a picture of one of the his suits. It was in the
Mm,
museum there that he was wearing when he landed on the moon. And when you look at the
allegedly. Yeah.
yeah, allegedly,
Mm.
when you look at the treading, it's different from the boot that's in the museum. That on the moon, if you will, the footprints on the
I
moon.
mean, there are plausible explanations that could
Yeah,
say, "Hey,
yeah,
NASA faked loads of stuff." I mean,
yeah,
it's
sure,
absolutely undeniable. They
yeah,
put photos that were taken on Earth orbits, and they said,
mhm,
"Oh, that was a photo taken from when they were going to the moon." No, it wasn't. I mean, because you already published it, so we know it's the same photo. Look, you know, I mean, why are you passing that off as this?
mhm,
You know, and it's like because there's a need for more material, and you know, would they really put his moon boot in a museum where it could be stolen?
Mm.
No, they put a copy, like they do with
True. Yeah.
Egyptian, stuff. They don't put the real Tutankhamun's mummy and carry it around the globe. They say they do,
Mm.
but do they? They have a very
Yeah.
good copy.
It's too risky.
And yeah, and the same with paintings. Like, is it the real Mona Lisa, or is it a very good copy?
Yeah.
Because people like to throw paint and soup like tomato soup on it, and
Mm.
so is it the real thing? Is it the real
Exactly.
crown jewels in the Tower of London? I mean, there's so much that's kind of not talked about with these things that are kind of, they just can't risk it in
No.
many. And so yes, they probably put another moon boot there, and somebody went, well, look, the photos don't match the moon boot, and it's like, well, yeah, it's not the real moon boot, but we can't tell you that because we don't want to risk the real moon boot. Then, of
Yeah.
course, people say, they cry foul. They go, well, obviously they didn't go to the moon then. But you can jump to those conclusions if you want to. You can go all the way to the conclusion that it was all done in his studio, and maybe Stanley Kubrick was involved, all that conspiracy theory. But, I mean, a rational explanation would be that the photos came out shit.
Mm.
So they just airbrushed them and faked them up. And funny, because a woman who actually did the airbrushing, Donna Hare, came forward and said, yeah, I was the person that airbrushed out the UFOs. And they were there, and NASA has the original negatives, and they say they've lost them. They haven't, and I airbrushed the photos, and that was my job.
What about the filming footage too?
They had 16 millimeter cameras, and they had Hasselblad photo cameras, and they had crap quality TV cameras, and then they said they lost the original tapes. So the only thing they've got is people filming off the screen when they when they were in mission control. Sorry, shouldn't eat when I'm talking. But
so they didn't actually have they had camera. Did they have cameras with them up there?
Yeah, I think they had, because they filmed themselves on 16 millimeter cameras. They didn't have portable. Well, they did have portable video cameras, but I think because it was higher quality to shoot in 16 mil, they did, and it was quite compact and tried and tested. Whereas TV cameras back then were low resolution, and so they did transmit live on TV cameras, and it was the signals were bounced around, picked up in Australia and Britain, and they were all sent through telephone cables, and kind of there was a delay and all this sort of stuff, but it wasn't very high quality, and it was low frame rate. The video cameras weren't all that good. But some people would say, well, studio TV cameras were much better quality. Why didn't they take a studio TV camera? So because it's bigger, heavier, takes more power. And what they wanted was something small, like a CCTV camera, that they could just kind of put on the buggy, and relay back to the craft, which would then boost the signal up to kind of get back to Earth. And it looks crap, but no, there is good quality footage, and a lot of it's been edited and manipulated and lost, and they haven't lost it. No way. There's just things in there they don't want you to see. Because according to the conspiracy theory, I mean, there was a UFO landed right next to where they landed, and they couldn't film it. They couldn't point the camera in that direction. But they were using secret codes like Father Christmas, which was a code to say we are being followed by a UFO. And Father Christmas meant you switch to an encrypted channel, and you then use further codes to say what the hell is going on. Because they were being followed, and on many moon missions they were being followed. So they some people even decrypted the channels and had to listen to the conversations, but of course they were still using code. They weren't speaking open English. So stuff went on that we weren't allowed to know.
The moon, though, it regardless, the moon itself is fascinating. The fact that here's this rock in space that's in our orbit, and I mean, the thing's been hit how many times by fucking asteroids and everything else? But I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
What
what?
about that famous experiment where they made us like an explosion or something, and the
Yeah,
moon rang for hours
yeah,
like as if it was made out of glass,
yeah,
or metal.
yeah.
And they
That
said, well, this means that the moon must be hollow, and all the dust
yeah.
is just settling on the surface. If we wipe the dust off, would it be a metal sphere or a glass sphere? And
Wouldn't
what's
that be
inside
crazy?
it?
Exactly. If that was the case, that's insane. There's a lot more to the moon than obviously they're letting us know, or that we
People
even do
believe that
know.
the moon wasn't always there because, I mean, it arrived to Earth and was captured, you know. And some people believe it was part of Earth, and when a meteor hit, it flew off and then went into orbit. They
Hmm,
believe it was part of the Earth.
wow.
So there's all these theories about stuff, but I mean, uh, did it arrive under some sort of powered system, and was it put there as a monitoring station
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
kind of,
say that, the gods that shaped us are keeping an eye on us, and the moon is
yeah.
the tool. Yeah,
I mean,
interesting.
there's talk about the moon causes waves, and causes
Yeah.
winds.
Mhm,
Yeah. So without a moon, you have much less waves and much less wind.
mhm.
And this is why it was much easier many years ago for people to travel vast distances across the sea, because you didn't end up drowning because of high waves.
High waves and
The
winds and
wind
shit.
was much more gentle,
Mhm.
and you could get all people knew how to navigate around the globe. And then, maybe when the moon arrived, it became harder to navigate.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, I and what was it? I remember seeing footage years ago. God, this is a long time ago. Black and white footage, apparent footage. I can't say verify it or not. Apparently, it was taken by one of the moon missions as they were leaving the moon. It captured what looked like a city
Mhm.
scape. And now I can't remember which astronaut apparently took this footage, and it was obviously, you can't show that it was confiscated or whatever, but somebody got a hold of it. I can't remember exactly who it was, but watching the footage, if it's real or not, it is so um sinister like. It just wow that here's this base, if you will, or this civilization, city or whatever on the moon. Why is it there, and who is there?
Yeah.
It just, and I do you know what footage I'm talking about, Matt, or is it just me? Because I remember, I think it was Coast to
Not
Coast that
heard
actually.
that one, to be perfectly honest. No,
I think it
I'm going
was.
to look into it.
I think it was Coast to Coast that actually somebody had posted that
You
years
can't
ago.
trust anything on Coast to
No,
Coast. They get
no,
they get they get people like me on there. You
yeah, no,
definitely
no,
can't trust it.
I know. I just I found it fascinating, whether it was real or not. It just and this is back obviously before
Who's I on
fucking
with? Was it George Norrie?
George Snorri. You're
Yeah,
on
it's
with George
like
Snorri.
George Snorrie or
George
Norrie. I think
Snorri.
it's Norrie, isn't it?
It's Snorri. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, good stuff. I really wish I'd managed to be on and speak to
Art,
what's his name? Mm,
not
the
Art.
other guy's name who had the antennas? He was a ham radio guy.
Oh, Art Bell.
Art Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I wish I'd managed to get on his show
Hmm.
before he passed away,
Hmm.
sadly. And yeah, great shows. They take the rough with the smooth. You get the crazy stories.
Yeah.
And then you get the debunkers as well.
Mm.
They'll hear both sides.
Hmm.
But some of the crazy stories are just so crazy.
Hmm.
That yeah. I
Like
mean, they
what?
say that reality is probably crazier than fiction. If we only knew.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just some of the shit that that came out of that show, stuff like, rods, you know,
Mhm.
orbs. People were going nuts with orbs, and it's funny how the orbs thing blasted off when point and shoot digital cameras became a mainstay, and people were like, "Oh my god, I've got all these orbs on my photo," because they were able to look at it right away, right? And so many, they didn't have to worry about fucking getting their film processed. And
Is it called confirmation bias? Bios.
yeah,
Computer guy, sorry.
yeah,
Confirmation bias.
yeah,
No, bias. Sorry.
bias, yeah,
Yeah, bias.
yeah,
That if you don't know about something, you don't go looking for it. But when somebody tells you about it, you see it all the time. You know,
absolutely, yeah,
and you're seeing it everywhere. So reality is kind of shaped by what you grow up learning and what you
hmm,
think is the truth. But in
hmm,
fact, were you taught a different thing, you'd be seeing the other realities as clearly as you see this reality. But
exactly,
it's all to do with how you're brought up, and what you learn and what you convince yourself of and what you're comfortable with.
yep,
And a lot of people aren't comfortable with the paranormal, and they don't want to have that. They're frightened of it. They want to hold it at bay, and they say they want to see a ghost, but when you actually get them in a haunted house and they start thinking, well, maybe that was a ghost, they become very, very uncomfortable,
hmm,
almost scared, and it's because their belief systems are being challenged. Everything they held, like,
hmm,
my life, everything I know about life, I know what I'm doing, and then that's challenged, and it's
it's
kind of it
shattered,
shatters, and
yeah,
people have to rethink everything they thought they knew. But orbs, going back to that point, that's what made me just mention this. Um, Orbs were always in people's photos,
hmm, yeah,
but once somebody pointed out that they might be paranormal, then
hmm,
everybody started seeing them a lot more, and rods.
hmm,
Rods have been captured for a long time,
hmm,
but only when somebody started pointing them out that they might be alien creatures that could
hmm,
only be captured by high-speed cameras under
hmm.
certain conditions. I mean, my feeling on it, sorry to be a skeptic, is it's insects. And I've done
Oh,
experiments.
absolutely,
Just I filmed orbs, but I mean, I've done it under,
absolutely,
but
hmm,
I knew what it was,
hmm,
you know.
yeah,
But if people are happy to think that they're alien creatures, great, cool. But these are all the things that kind of cloud the research subjects, because
hmm,
they're 10 a penny, all these kind of like wacky theories that are easily disprovable.
yep,
um, and it gets in the way of real research, into
exactly,
paranormal stuff, because people are just chasing orbs around when they could be doing something a little bit more productive, I would suggest. um, and I think that some of these things are thrown out by paranormal researchers, thrown out there to kind of throw people off the scent, and by governments and people and religions. They don't want you looking into something, so they throw you a bone,
hmm,
and send you off down a completely different route to kind of
exactly,
keep you away from the truth.
hmm.
So always look into these things, but never devote your life to them. You've got to
No,
still kind of keep your feet on the ground and remember to kind of look around other areas as well.
hmm, yeah, well, yeah,
So,
yeah. Do your own research. I mean, it's important. Absolutely, look into things that they seem fascinating, and that's the whole point. But the thing is,
yeah, oh yeah, it's Friday the 13th tomorrow. So
yeah,
if I haven't got, I was born
tomorrow,
on Friday. I was born on Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
And why
Yeah,
is Friday the 13th unlucky?
because it
Any
is
ideas?
well, certainly not from Sweden. That's for sure.
Alex could tell you,
Alex,
probably.
Italian.
Yeah. Well, it's not, well, maybe more Jewish than Italian. Friday the 13th.
Kabbalist. 13th.
Sort of.
13. 13. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly. Why
Sort
is it?
of.
Why is it?
Secret societies.
Yes, 13. 13.
It was the day that the Freemasons were persecuted and
Yes.
thrown out of France.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So it was unlucky for some,
Yeah. For
them.
some. But it's a lucky number in Sweden.
Mm.
On that, my friend, I must end this. I got to run, but another interesting conversation.
Throwing some tidbits out there so people can now go and feed and look into them.
Look into this stuff. I mean, they're fascinating topics, and they always have been. I think there are people that do discuss them, and like you said, there's people to look at and look at the research and stuff like that. I think people need to look more into a lot of these topics. They're very, very interesting. So thank you, Matt. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
And
thank you.
You be well, and we'll chat soon.
All the best. Cheers, folks. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Hit the like and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we'll see you all Sunday night. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.